The myth that you can duplicate people. You can't duplicate people. People say, you can duplicate a system. No, you can't. A system's only as good as the person working it. If you don't have the same desire as me, if you don't have the same focus as me, if you don't have the same energy as me, the system will work different for me as it does for you. It just will, right? And so, never before in the history of the world has it gone 2 to 4, 4 to, 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32. It's never done that, and it never will, right? If you enroll 10 people, like the people that become good, they become good because they invest their heart and their energy in the right people. And that's an art. You're never going to be 100% on it, because the number one thing that you have to do is, first of all, I can help teach leadership awareness. I can teach leadership skills, but we all have the ability to lead, first of all, right? My 5.5-year-old can lead you across the street, and you can follow him, right? And you probably would have said, hey, come across the street. But like when you really talk about leadership at a business level to high level, it comes down to responsibility and accountability, right? First of all, for yourself. So I want you to let yourself off the hook that you can't make someone a leader and you cannot make someone successful. It's absolutely impossible. And anyone that's ever been successful, everyone has had a common trait, and that is a burning desire. And you cannot create a device known to man where you can measure what's in someone's heart, right? We all want, look, if I said on this call and we're all honest, how many of you want $1 million to be deposited into your checking account Friday? If you say you don't, you're lying, right? And the reality of it is that if we all knew how powerful we were, that we can create something to develop us $1 million, a lot of us don't believe that we have the ability to do that, right? And so a lot of times the reason why we use stories or testimonies is so people can relate and say, well, if they can do it, I can do it. They believe a little bit more and they might put more action into it. There's no guarantees. Everyone's on a different timeline. But I guarantee that the possibility is real for each and every one of us. And so I guess my point by all that is to say, let yourself off the hook first and foremost, take a deep breath and realize all you can do is all you can do, but all you can do is enough. But then you have to be a real leader to yourself, and you have to look at yourself and be your own coach first. Are you doing all you can do? Are you? So there's something that limits us from doing all we can do. It's either fear of success or the fear of failure. It's one or the other, right? But we're operating out of fear, or we don't believe. And so the reason that I start every training that we do off with in like our layered learning system is built around belief, is that no matter what it is that we're doing in life, you can only build something to the level you believe it can be built. Once your belief starts eroding, you're done at anything, relationship or whatever it might be. And so the first thing that you have to do, and you're right, like you can't operate this no matter what anyone says. You have to, and this is an art. So let yourself off the hook. The thing you focus on is what you do first, what you can control. Don't focus on what you can't control. All right. Focus on what you can control, and realize that if you focus on that and you focus on your activity, you always want to reinforce, your beliefs. So the more people believe, the more they'll give themselves more time to learn strategies and techniques that can help them go further faster. But if someone doesn't have a burning desire and they don't believe, right, then they're not going to spend the time to develop what's needed in order to achieve an outcome that they have. Most of those people probably never even set an outcome in place, right? So like, forget about personal development for a second. I wrote something down on my piece of paper today, and I said, well, here, I'll repeat it to you. Activity and experience. This is what personal development is about. It's not about reading. Some people have got it twisted that if they read, they're going to read themselves into success. Bullshit. Like I am who I am because of the activities that I've done for 27 years, the experience that I have, and the lessons I've learned along the way, period. And you can't read that out of a book. I have something to give you that this book can never give you. Now, I can read this book now and have 10 times more perspective on what's in this book than when I started 27 years ago, because I have a path with a lot of bumps on the road that I can be like, oh, that makes sense. I make sense. Oh, I can see what they have now. But if you don't have a perspective because you've never given yourself the activity and the experience and the time to develop it. So like, that's why like the whole cliche sentiment of, you know, it's a journey, not a destination. People like overlook that, but you got to understand you're growing through the journey more than you ever know. Right. But the minute you take your foot off the gas and you stop doing the thing, you stop doing the daily activities, the simplicities of having conversations, then you lose your edge. You know, if you want the edge, stay in constant activity, right? And then gain experience so you can give it to other people as they're going through it. See, that's helping develop leadership. Developing leadership is they have to raise their hand first. You can't raise their hand for them, right? And then developing leadership is not the directive you give them. It's the experience that you're gleaning from them so they can go further faster without hitting the same pitfalls that you did. There is no secret in success. The secret in success lies in one thing. It's your desire and action, right? Let me give you a different illustration. There's people that were just as talented as Michael Jordan in the NBA, but they weren't duplicate or he outperformed them, and he outperformed them because he had a greater focus towards being the best. He put in more time. He had more energy. He had more conviction. He had more fire, right? I had a guy named Roger Berkman. You can Google him. He played basketball for the University of Louisville, played in the NBA for a couple seasons, and I went to his basketball camp when I was younger. And he said, in the NBA, everyone's talented. They're all the superstars, right? He said, it's the person that wants it the most that always wins. It's the person that's willing to just smack their mom in the face. That's what he said to me. What he means is like they wouldn't let their mom beat them in horse. That's how competitively driven they are, right? That's the standard that they keep. You know, for a lot of people, they're not used to that. You know, I mean, I was fortunate. I came up through athletics, so I was taught this competitive spirit and this drive and this determination. And in order to get good, like in order to get good at anything, you have to put in the time. That's human behavior. Like just look at your kids. In order for your kids to get good at walking, they got to crawl and fall a lot. You know, I remember when Brixton and Brylan, I still do, I get nervous when they start running real fast. I'm afraid they're going to fall because they're little kids, right? Also, don't let anybody take the wind out of our sails, because if you realize that it's a journey, you're constantly relaunching your business. You know, I mean, but like you got to relaunch it with the same energy. And so the myth of duplication is a fallacy. There's no such thing as it. There's no two people alike in the world. If you're going to duplicate anything, you have to duplicate energy, hunger, focus, tenacity, conviction, certainty, and belief. Those are all intangibles, which how you're going to measure it. But those are the things that you have to duplicate, right? Plug it into a system, that's easy, but plugging in the system doesn't make someone successful or not successful. Does that make sense? If you just keep doing the thing, it will work out for you. Just keep doing the thing, because as you're doing the thing, which is the activity, you're gaining experience. As you gain experience, you're iterating on the fly. You don't even realize it. But like you're making fine adjustments. Like when you say something that works, your brain records that. Oh, it feels good that it works, right? It's kind of like training a dog. Like it's what do they call it when it's conditioning? You're conditioning yourself. See, like there's an old saying, and I hope this gives you perspective. That's all I'm trying to do is just give you contrast, because a lot of that language is like what it is like a frustrating thing that, man, I'm working so hard, but it's not going anywhere. Or is it? The bamboo tree, right? So people want it quicker sometimes than it's happening, and they're wanting an excuse and they're wanting to make it more complex to quit doing the thing. But the reality of it is it's all about doing the thing.